Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Tomorrow's Weather Today. I am Jacob, and today is going to be my first video on severe weather. Tomorrow, Wednesday, May 20th, we do have an enhanced risk in um, the northern plains of the United States, with an enhanced risk for South Dakota, a little bit of Montana, Wyoming, and Nebraska, and a slight risk and marginal risk extending from there. Um, we won't be talking about this marginal risk down in Georgia and South Carolina, but there is a 5% chance for both wind and hail. Um, but we do have a tornado risk in the upper plains, along with wind and hail. It's a little weird the way they did this with this risk, but it's the SPC. Um, so let's look at the NAM for tomorrow, the NAM 3K. So this is 12, tomorrow 12Z at 12Z, which is 6 a.m. Um, their time here, um, for Mountain Time. So if we start off with the dew point and wind barbs, we can see in the morning we already have dew points in the 50s, in the upper 50s to low 60s. And if we take this ahead a few hours to 15Z, it's increasing even more, 18Z and 21Z, and then 0Z, which is 6 p.m. So basically, this would be midnight Zulu time, and for here, you need to subtract um, 6 hours from that. So you take off 6, which would be 18, which would be 6 p.m. Um, so we can see that we have high enough dew points for severe weather, and it looks like um, it's going to be earlier down here for Nebraska and Wyoming. So taking a look at reflectivity, we're going to back this up a little bit. So 18Z, we have some light showers up in Montana and on the border of Canada. We take this ahead to 21Z, and we can see some storms starting to fire up. Down in Wyoming, probably with some large hail. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if a tornado does possibly come out of this, as they are discrete. Um, then we take it ahead another 3 hours, and we can see that we have this line, this linear system that's going to be moving through Nebraska and South Dakota, and we have some cells up in Montana. And moving it ahead more, this line kind of breaks off into two pieces. Um, and overnight the storms die out. Um, so why are we seeing these storms? Let's go to the mixed layer CAPE. Sorry, not SYN, CAPE. Um, so bringing it out to 12Z tomorrow, we have a little bit, not a lot, because it is the morning time. So with daytime heating, this will increase, and moving it up to 21Z. Which is 3 p.m. We can see we have a decent amount of CAPE up here, actually. This would be enough to support some severe weather. Let's take a sounding right here in southern South Dakota. And we're going to use a different pen for this. You can see the LCL is a little high for tornadoes here. Um, and there isn't a lot of shear according to the hodograph and the parameters down here. The best guess is severe weather, but there is a lot of CAPE, um, and there's a little bit of a cap. It's not that bad. A 20 degree moisture spread, and there is some dry air in the middle layers of the atmosphere. Let's take this ahead 3 more hours. It's a little polluted, this sounding, with some rain probably moving in there. But if we take this ahead to 0Z, we're going to take a sounding down here, and you can see a marginal tornado risk. There's enough shear, there's plenty of shear. This is a good hodograph for tornadoes. The LCL is not horrible. It could be a little lower for tornadoes, and we do have a decent cap. If you want severe weather, you definitely want that to be less. So this is a good sign, meaning that we probably, or there's a better chance that storms won't develop, but as they move in, they could um, break through that and still come in. Up in Montana, we can see um, severe weather is the best guess for hazard. Not really great shear, but definitely enough uh, thermodynamics at that time. So looking ahead at the bulk shear, we can see that there is more shear towards the later half of the night. You would want that when the storms are developing. Looking at the cap, the SIN, um, this is not right. This you so looking ahead, there is going to be a cap in place to the east of where storms are developing. Um, so storms are basically developing uh, over here at this time. This is where the biggest cap is. Um, so I can show you what a cap looks like on the sounding. Um, you can see right here, there's this inversion right here where it is warmer. Um, in order for air to rise, the air above it needs to be cooler. Um, an air parcel will rise until it gets to this layer, and then it won't be able to until this cap breaks and the layer gets cooler. Oops, my bad. So a cap might be in place, which might inhibit storms. Um, there's not really a lot of shear going on with Helicity, um, which is good. That's probably going to mean more of a hail threat, which isn't great, but also there's a lower risk for tornadoes, which is a good sign. So let's take this over to the HRRR. I don't know if this is going to go out in time. It's going to get far enough out to see. So surface base Cape tomorrow morning, and then there's a lot of Cape that builds in. Good enough. 22Z. Um, if we let's look at the reflectivity, um, you can see that the HRRR is more discrete cells and doesn't have it form. You can see we have a few cells down here, um, and then moving it along, more discrete, moving northward, um, and it looks like conditions are more favorable for development here. So let's take a sounding right where that cell forms. Um, It's not showing a lot of cape here. It's actually showing minimal, under 1,000, and shear isn't going well. But if I move this ahead about an hour, I bet you it will look better. It does look better. Um, LCLs are high, the lifted cloud layer, and then LFC, the lifted level of free convection. Um, you basically want these lower for tornadoes, but it's a good thing that they are higher up, and which lowers the risk for tornadoes. And no one wants to see tornadoes because they do a lot of damage to property. So we have that cell form. So this is at 19Z. I'm gonna actually circle that with my purple pen here. Exit out. Forecast hour 31. Go to Cape. Um, and then we're gonna open back up. Yeah, there's a little cape there. Then we move it ahead. We could see, you can actually see where the storms are because there's like those bubbles of lower cape where the storms have already been. So overall, I'm thinking I agree with the SPC that wind and hail are the main threats. Hail as you go farther west, and wind as you go farther um, east. They do say that posing a risk for large hail, strong winds, and perhaps a couple of tornadoes. I don't know about the tornadoes. Um, that looks very unlikely to me. I mean, it's a non-zero threat, but is possible. And I might make a video tomorrow about Thursday's risk in the panhandle of Oklahoma and Texas. I wouldn't be surprised if this slight risk is expanded southward and an enhanced risk somewhere in here. If there is an enhanced risk, I will make a video about that. But that is it for today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos. And make sure to click on the link to my Discord channel with a fellow weather YouTuber. I will link his description down below as well. Um, and make sure to like and subscribe to him. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one.